Could people please take their seats?
Whoa, those lights are intense.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. If you could take your seats, I'd appreciate it. All right, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. I know we have a lot of networking going on, which is exciting. I know that's a big part of this. It's a microphone. Here we go. My name is Jan Van Tassel. I'm president of the board of the Connecticut Housing Coalition, and on behalf of the board and the staff, I want to welcome all of you here today to our 25th annual conference. It's pretty exciting having 25 of these and watching them grow. I think this year's we have more attendance than ever before, which is really a positive sign. I want to acknowledge our diamond sponsor, City Community Development, as well as our diamond supporter, TD Bank. I also, before I forget, want to acknowledge the work that our staff have done to pull off this event as they do every year. They have done a tremendous job, and for those of you here, anyone who has ever done any kind of event knows what kind of attention to detail it requires, and for something this large, it's just indescribable. We on the board get to have the ideas and ask the questions, and they do a tremendous job of just putting up with us and getting it done, and we appreciate it very much. The Connecticut Housing Coalition has grown to 250 members. And as you all know, we represent diverse interests from the world of affordable housing, whether it's bankers, housing developers, attorneys, advocates, residents, state agencies. All of them play an important part in making affordable housing a reality in the state of Connecticut. Over the years, we have grown, and not unlike a family, we have been together as the family of affordable housing in Connecticut. Sometimes we struggle, sometimes like families, we have a few disputes. But one thing I think is very important, we all understand that we need to keep our eyes on the prize, which is the fact that affordable housing is good for our communities, it's good for our economy, and is good for all of the residents of the state of Connecticut, not just those who have affordable housing. Everyone benefits from affordable housing. So today is something of a family reunion, our 25th gathering. You'll see a little scrapbook inside the booklet, the materials you were given. And we hope you'll take some time to reconnect and celebrate and learn. This year we have 3 banks of workshops instead of 2. We have a new format for our luncheon. Rather than a keynote speaker, we're having a plenary where we have some very knowledgeable and action-oriented individuals from locally and from around the country who will be discussing, we think, some interesting ideas. We also have a storytelling room, and we hope folks will take advantage of that and go in and videotape why housing matters to you as a person, to your community, what your experience has been. Those kinds of stories, as you know, can be critical in helping people who aren't quite the addicts we are about affordable housing understand that it's not just, and please understand where I'm coming from, helping people, which we all may want to do, but we need to communicate why it matters fiscally, individually, why it is the foundation for building lives and communities. So I hope today's conference will not just remind you of how far we've come, but that it also inspires and energizes you to think about how far we can go together as a group and how much more we can accomplish in the future. So with that, I want to turn it over to Betsy. Crum. No organization, I don't think there's anybody here who doesn't know this, no organization can thrive and grow without strong leadership. And we are extremely fortunate to have an executive director who is standing there going, please stop talking about me. But however, we're fortunate to have someone who has the whole package. She gets the fiscal needs, she gets structure, she gets policy. She gets how all of this comes together, and she is a leader who can bring us all together and help us move forward. So please give it up for a very exceptional executive director, Betsy Crum.
I know. Jan didn't mention this year about our shared love of wine either, which is how we connect. Welcome, everyone. Good morning and welcome. This, as Jan said, this is a little bit of a different format this year. We try every year really to listen to the feedback you give us in your evaluations, and we talk about the conference with our board throughout the year. And I'm really excited about some of the things this year. We have 3 banks of workshops. Everyone says every year, oh, I wish I could go to that workshop, but I just didn't have time, or I was busy networking out in the hallway with my 3 meetings that I had scheduled, and I didn't get to see workshops. Well, hopefully with 3 workshops, and they're all fairly lengthy, you'll have a chance to really learn something new, go to something different. And we wanted to make sure that we include time also for that networking that's always so important. We don't have, we've in other years tried to have sort of an inspirational speaker to get you all jazzed up. I think we're all jazzed up. And so our luncheon panel is really going to be experts from around, who are national experts on housing, as well as our local commissioner of housing, to really talk about the future, to talk about where they see things going, to look back on the last 25 years and to look forward to the next 25 years and think about what we can look into that crystal ball a little bit and how can we get excited. And then the storytelling booth. We've been talking about telling our stories, talking about getting to people's hearts and minds around housing. As advocates, as people who are passionate about our work, we get it from such a fundamental level. We sometimes don't understand why the whole world doesn't look at it as, a food issue or a sort of a rights issue. And one of the ways we're really going to try to do that is by talking to everyone, not just people who are currently using affordable housing. Everybody has a home. Everyone needs a home, wants a home, and has a story about a home that they can connect to. By telling your story, we really hope you can reach other people and the part of them that also loves and cares about a home. So we're going to use these stories on our website, in our materials, in all kinds of different ways that we haven't even figured out yet, because we're still waiting for you to tell your story. So room 21 is our storytelling room, and if you signed up, please show up at your time. There are a couple of slots left, but we also have a workshop on storytelling, so we're really devoted to it. Jenna Ferguson, I don't know, is Jenna in the room anywhere? I just want to give her a real shout out. This is their first year at the helm of this conference. She's done a fantastic job taking over from Allison, who did a fantastic job and had very, very big shoes to fill. So they both, if you see them, thank them and tell them what a great job they're doing. Yeah, give it up. So typically what I do in the morning is kind of talk about what happened over the last year. I think because this is our 25th anniversary, which is what the silver and other color balloons are about, I want to talk about the last 25 years, very briefly. It's not going to be a long speech because we got to get you out of here in 10 minutes. But we all had a lot of fun with this scrapbook. Please take a look at it. see if you can find yourself in there. You're probably in there somewhere. We have lots of photographs. But it was also really fun putting it together because we were able to kind of see how far we've come and how much has been created. The highlights over the years were really are kind of a story of the housing industry and movement in Connecticut. So to sort of get you thinking about 25 years ago, Jude Carroll helped me come up with some fun facts from 1990, which was the year of our first conference. In 1990, the median household income was $28,000 in the United States. It's now $52,000 a year. A gallon of gas was $1.34. We know where that's gone. A stamp was 25 cents. The median value of a single-family home was $78,500. That was in the middle. You could buy a house for about $78,500. Now it's about $220,000 nationally, and we know much higher here in Connecticut. And rent, the median rent was $371 a month for an apartment in 1990. But you know, we had an affordable housing crisis then as well. And when I think back over the last 25 years, 1987, which is a little more than 25 years ago, then Governor O'Neill declared it the year of housing. And by 1990, we had $100 million pledged annually to the state for affordable housing. That went down by 2010 to about $5 million, from $100 million to $5 million. But today, 5 short years from that absolute low point, we have nearly, in the last 3 years, $750 million pledged to address our current and future needs. That is an amazing, amazing transformation in our state. In 1990, we were in a recession. We thought it was a pretty bad recession. Most of the 90s was a housing slump. We didn't know what we were in for in a housing slump until 2008, and we're still digging out of that today, but times are changing. In 1990, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, launched their Hope 6 program. It was at that time, very optimistic, ambitious plan to revitalize public housing, but it also led, as it played out, to some displacement and an overall reduction in units over time. But today, we're really working with the goal of replacing all the affordable units that are there, improving them all, expanding where possible, and including residents fully in the planning and revitalization, redevelopment process. Again, a major shift in our thinking about how we approach housing. Deinstitutionalization of people with disabilities ramped up after 1990, and the Olmstead Act didn't follow far behind, with new demands for community-based housing with services attached. And today, we really are focused in all of our housing efforts, I am anyway, in inclusion of people with disabilities in the community and in ending chronic homelessness really forever in our state. And we're, frankly, maybe only a few years away from that, really what once seemed an impossible goal. So that's very exciting. And then I found in 1990 we were frustrated by congressional gridlock in Washington. And some things really don't ever change. So today we have substantial state investment for affordable housing. We have an ambitious plan to revitalize the state housing portfolio, support for capacity development, support for resident involvement and participation, new resources for ending homelessness, and what I see as a growing flexibility in our state funding agencies to try to address the various demands and the local needs as they come up. And those are all major shifts in just a few short years. We have a new Department of Housing, or a new again Department of Housing. We have an interagency council on affordable housing that focuses on housing policy, and our state and our governor have been recognized nationally as leaders, as really out in the forefront of affordable housing. So, you know, looking over the last 25 years, I feel very excited and grateful to be here today, to be right in this place at this time. And I think we've made tremendous strides, and if we continue to work together as we have as a coalition, I think that will take us into the next 25 years. That's the reason the coalition exists. That's the reason we have our conference here today. We're guided by our collective belief that housing is the hub, fundamental to family success, to community stability, to healthy outcomes, economic growth, educational achievement, and that all of our other efforts that are aimed at addressing the needs of families and individuals are at risk if their basic need for affordable quality housing isn't fully met. So today I invite you all to come together, use the time to network. Nobody will be upset. Well, some people will be upset if all of you are out in the hall networking when the workshops are going on, but that's what I used it for when I was here, and it's a chance to really listen to each other, learn from each other, teach each other, celebrate, tell your story, hear somebody else's story, and think about the role that you play in moving affordable housing forward in Connecticut. So I thank you. I'll send you off to your workshops now and see you back here at lunch.